Hello and welcome to Draft Championship 4, the finals. I cannot believe that we have already got to the end of our fourth season of Draft Championship, and yet here we are. We are doing a top 8 draft of Innistrad Remastered, and it's going to be a blast. How did we get here? This is what qualifying looked like. So you'll notice that my name is in there. I qualified in fourth place, but the way that we did this is over 6 months or so, every other draft night at the Dice Cup here in Nottingham has counted towards the Draft Championship 4 qualification. And so what that's looked like is for each week, you'll score however many points you score at FNM. And over 13 weeks, we take the points total of your top 10 results, add all of those up together, and you get your final score. And our top 8 in qualification are Helena, Ben, Stephen, Nathan, Francesco, James, Joe, and Ash. To make sure that there was still something to play for during qualification for those who had been locked into top 8 in the last few weeks, this is a seeded draft, so we will be seating people accordingly, and also any matches, any of the match in all of the matches, the person that was seeded highest in that match will get the choice of whether to play or draw first. That was qualification. I would say, just as a reminder, the Dice Cup in Nottingham, we have an incredible draft scene here. We play every Friday at 7 p.m. We've normally got 3 pods worth of drafters. It's a really, really good time and a fantastic community. Always like giving them a shout out. So come along and join us if you're in the area. The draft table looked like this. Helena in seat 1. I was across the table, but we got Helena passing to Francesco, to James, Joe, Ash, me, Stephen, and then Ben. And these were the decks that were drafted. Innistrad Remastered. It was a premium set purposefully. We wanted this to feel like it was more special than just drafting another standard set. Also, it means that all of us have only really drafted this a couple of times, so we're all fairly fresh to the format. It's not necessarily as solved as most of the formats that are played on Arena, and so these were the decks that were built. So Helena drafted a Golgari Graveyard deck, Francesco a Flyers deck, James on Tempo, Joe got red-white aggro, Ash got a Jund deck, very Jundy, I believe. I drafted probably. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I think I drafted the coolest deck at the table in Seize the Storm. Is it spells? Stephen played Selesnya Humans, and Ben got an Esper Tokens list together. And with that, what we're going to do is go straight into game 1, and we're going to follow our top seed, which was Helena, and she goes up against Ash. Throughout this, we will be showing you the deck lists, and that's what we're going to go to first now. And for match 1, we have got Helena playing against Ash. We're going to have a look at Helena's deck to start with, because we've got to celebrate Helena, our resident Pro Tour draft aficionado, turning up at the Pro Tour, going 3-0 on day 1 and day 2.
Yeah, defeated in draft.
Exactly. And now that I've introed Helena, it's time to intro you, Kieran, as the ideal person to talk us through some of the Draft Championship finals. Our 2-time draft champion. So, hello and welcome.
Hello there.
we're going to talk through Helena's deck first. Looks like we're on a soupy graveyard deck.
So at a quick glance, we can see it's 3 colours: black, green, and blue. So we got Sultai Special.
Yep.
Just 1 blue card in the deck, Gisa and Girolf. So once during each of your turn, you may cast a zombie creature spell from your graveyard. Quick scroll through. There's 1, 2, 3. Is that it? There's 3 zombies, so you get a little bit of value with those. And if we look at the top end, we have some giant Eldrazi with a merge, so we can potentially see some, just sacking those zombies off to help cast these big Eldrazi. A giant Cultivator Colossus, one of my favourite cards. I'm a big fan of Amulet Titan in Modern.
Yes,
Cultivator Colossus is amazing in that deck. And it's probably a little worse in draft, but if you have it in hand, you play it on 7, you get to turn all the other lands in your hand into spells, as well as ramping you. And then another very interesting card in this deck is the Hell Vault, a lovely little 3-mana artifact that just exiles a target creature for 1 mana.
Very strange card.
And then exile target creature you don't control, 7 mana. Yeah, it's a cool card, very story relevant as well at the time.
I think there's also a modern great in Young Wolf, right? I'm more interested in the commons than I am the mythics.
So Young Wolf, very good. Like you say, played in called Yawgmoth as one of the combo pieces, just a 1/1 for 1 with Undying, so that's going to get some value. Skeleton again, another creature. So you can see that a lot of value in the creatures here.
That's it, and another limited All-Star. We talked about constructed. Limited All-Star was Morbid Opportunist. That thing was a mythic uncommon for sure. Whenever a creature dies, you draw a card once a turn. Absolutely insane in this style of deck where you've got skeletons that you're going to be sacking off. You've got a Young Wolf you don't mind dying because it comes back again. So it looks like this is going to be a value deck. Stuff's going to die. That's perfectly fine. We're going to get some triggers. We've also got a couple of enchantments in Ulvenwald Mysteries that gives us a benefit from dying. We get we get to investigate when we do, and then when we crack our clues, we get a human. And then we've got Ghoulish Procession as well that turns our deaths into decayed zombies. So a lot of value here, and I guess the Brambleworm and Cultivator Colossus up there for that trample damage may well just be the way that Helena plans to finish the games off.
Yeah, so very, very cool deck, very exciting.
Nice one. Well, let's have a look at what Ash is planning on doing then. It's also grindy. It's also very grindy.
Yeah, so again, from the off, we've got 3 colours. This time we're going for the Jund. If we have a quick look through the list, we do have a rare land, the Death Cap Glade, to sort of facilitate this. And then we've got the Gitrog Monster, like an absolute massive 5/5, 5 mana 6/6 with Death Touch. At the beginning of Upkeep, sacrifice the Gitrog Monster as your second land. When they should play an additional land, and when lands go into your graveyard from anywhere, you draw a card. We also have Bedlam Revelers up there, and another cool grindy card in Huntmaster of the Fowls. Like this, when Jund back in the day, this used to be actually played in Modern. If you can believe it, a 4-mana 2/2 that made a 2/2 and gave you 2 life. Yeah,
so interesting.
Gone are the days of that in Modern these days.
Wowzers! I was drafting to Ash's left, and I was really upset when he turned over the fact that he'd pack 1 pick 1 Bedlam Reveler and pack 3 pick 1 Bedlam Reveler, considering I went into a red deck myself.
Yeah.
He also stole 2 of my Abrades. Not happy.
Yeah. This probably isn't the best deck for the Bedlam Reveler, because like we in Innistrad Remastered, we've got the is it Spellslinger deck?
Exactly, that's
But
what I wanted.
but it's still a card that says when it enters, discard your hand and draw 3. So if you can maneuver it to be the last card you play, it's a 3/4 with Ancestral Recall struck to it as well, which is really, really cool.
We know how much you like that card.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of There's quite a lot of removal here. A couple of grades, an Eaten Alive, Tragic Slip.
Yeah.
We've also got the Blood Tithe Harvester. That was that played in Pioneer for a while. I think it
Wow,
was.
it was played in Standard. I
Yeah.
think it was played in Pioneer when Rakdos was the best deck there. That's a card where if Jund was still a deck in Modern, that's probably the more of the caliber of card you'd see played in the deck now.
Got you. Then we've got Collective Brutality as well. Very, very powerful card. A lot of options. Does everything that black wants to do.
Exactly.
And then I think the last thing to call out in this deck before we move into the actual gameplay is Grafrat's Midnight Scavengers.
So it is in there. We do have the potential to meld the two together.
If there's one thing I want to see today, it's a melded creature. We have arrived on Innistrad, and there's a couple of things that are exciting about Innistrad, and that is one of them. I want to see some ginormous cards. But
That'd be really cool to see.
Very cool. All right, well, let's get into the match then. And here we are. Ash against Helena. Somehow we've got Helena starting on 22 life, so that's a good start. I really did enjoy the even just the vibes in this tournament. It was really chilled out. Everyone was just enjoying themselves. It was a set that nobody knows. It's not like there's 2 or 3 of us turned up as experts. Everybody's kind of just like, well, let's see what we open.
Yeah.
But
you say it's a set nobody knows. I've been told one player did spend quite a lot of time on Draft Sim.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah.
I love that.
Doing about 15 odd drafts the day before.
Okay.
So.
Was it one of these two? Was it one of these two?
It was not one of these two. No.
All right.
But apart from that person, I think we only did 2 of these in paper, didn't we? So
yeah,
getting to see the set drafted again, it's really sweet, really cool.
It does feel special. All right, well, both players have started off with Siege Zombie and Butcher Ghoul, and then we've got the Ulvenwald Mysteries. So when our creatures die, Helena doesn't really care because we get cards and tokens and creatures. This is probably a card that doesn't. I don't know. Does it do enough? It would be difficult for me to evaluate this card in a modern draft set.
The mystery is.
Yeah.
I think when we played this draft, it was a lot slower, wasn't it? So.
Yes.
I mean, we're going to see the absolute maximum value from this mystery, so it being played on turn 3.
And I would say that one of the things that I associate with a remastered set is that the removal is a little bit worse, and it's more about the creatures and the theme of where we're at.
Yeah.
Wow, we got both of them. We've got a Ghoulish Procession as well.
So now it seems a lot better. So when the creature dies, we're getting a 2/2 with Decayed as well as a Clue. And when we crack the Clue, we get a 1/1. So engine online basically for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's a nice start.
This is where if I'm Ash, I'm looking at my deck. I'm like, how many flyers do I have? Because the ground is going to get gummed up real quick.
That's a good point. The Decayed zombies got to remember that they can't block, and they're a one-time use. But yeah, I think we're already turning into a value game. Hellvolt has been cast already.
Yes.
It's going to be a while before this becomes useful, but if the game's going to go long like we think it is, then Ash is going to need one of those abrades probably.
I will go to combat at a time.
I'll tell you what, Siege Zombie was a bit of a house in Midnight Hunt, I think it was. You were able to just go wide and
Yeah.
just keep tapping your creatures in threes to drain your opponent to death.
Yeah.
It's strangely strong.
So here we see the first sort of trigger. So Ash attacked, Helena snapped the block off, got these 2 tokens, and
And
we're going to draw a card.
Ash has played one of many people's
Well,
favourite Magic cards, I would suggest.
yeah, I remember when this card was spoiled. I was back when I still played Commander at the time, and I just had to build a Commander deck for the Gitrog monster, and yeah, I remember the deck. Squandered resources, sack my lands, make tons of mana, get loads of card draws, stack more salvage in the end step.
Nice.
What a card.
Yeah, so I played it in like a Muldrotha graveyard shenanigans deck. Pretty bonkers. Pretty bonkers.
So we're going to attack. So we are going to get some trample damage here, right? Or is it just death touch? This
It's
one
just
has,
death
I can't
touch.
remember.
This one's only allowed 1 keyword. It's all right. This was printed a
Is it
while
each
ago.
iteration of the Gitrog monster got a new keyword? Is that how it worked?
We've got Midnight Scavengers as well, so hunting for Graph Rats. That just for my own personal sake, because I want to see it.
So here's a Butcher Ghoul on Helena's side now. So this is where the true value comes in. This is a blocker. It's another body, and it's going to trigger those 2 enchantments.
And gets upgraded somehow. Because when a zombie dies, it becomes better. When it undies, I don't know.
Yeah. Magic lore.
It all looks very Innistrad so far, that's for sure. We've got
Yes,
the Graph
so
Cat.
we do-
Oh my goodness, we've got Graph
We do
Rats.
we do have them together.
Let's go! Wait, no, Helena. No. Oh, rude. So we're fighting the rats with the jewel with the meld trigger on the stack, which just means it doesn't happen, I guess.
Yeah.
Already
Such
got
a
weird
unique
rules.
mechanic, yeah.
Yeah.
Meld.
So we're still in your combat. I will.
I mean, this frog's looking pretty strong still,
Sure, take 3. Get a 15.
Yeah.
but we are getting multiple chumpers now because we
That only triggers once. That one you can keep
we get another
Yeah,
clue.
so the Gaulish Possession only triggers once, but the Mysteries triggers as many times in a turn as it wants to. And looking at Helena's mana, she's already up to 6, so 1 more mana.
So I'll just pass turn.
Oh, and the Hellvault deals with the frog.
And the Hellvault deals with the frog, and all of a sudden, advantage bar massively in Helena's side.
But Ash has more cards in hand than Helena
Yeah.
does. We've got a crawl. We did crawl from the cellar. The Graph Rats back.
Yes, we're going to try again.
Good. Music to my ears. Music to my ears. But yeah, not ideal when that Hellvault's there just to exile both of them.
Yeah.
Lumberknot. This is the hexproof thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that one in
No,
deck tag.
it's about to get real big real quick.
Exactly.
1-1, it's a free with hexproof now.
Sure. And you got 1 card in hand there.
And a wolf too.
Okay, untap.
Look at this.
I'm going to sacrifice.
Helena definitely starting off the tournament doing exactly what she wants to do.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll play a land.
At what point in Limited does the frog start just eating your resources when you don't want them to?
I'd almost say we've been there for a couple of turns. If we've watched Ash, she's only been able to sort of deploy one threat a turn, and it's
Yeah.
not been enough. Whereas Helena at this point is now well, that turn she casts 2 cards.
And she's got the clues to catch up as well.
Yeah.
Combat. Does this happen? Yep.
Okay.
Yes, come on, show me the chittering host.
happens.
Alright, so haste menace. When it enters, other creatures you control get +1/+0 and menace. Right, we're just preserving
So-
life totals a little bit here with a double block on the Gitrog monster.
Trigger central here, so that's going to get 2 counters. Young Wolf's going to come back a little bit bigger. We're going to get a Decayed Zombie,
Get a
and
zombie
we're going
and
to
a
get a
clue.
clue. Yeah.
Yep. And second main, I'll tap 2 for Blood Petal Celebrant.
That's not an abrade.
No, Braid is really what would have been great there, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Oh, well, no.
These enchantments are gonna like have been a major problem.
Okay. So we are going super wide here, which is kind of what you want to be doing. This draw here is the big one, right?
A land.
Yeah.
Just slam a land and start hell vaulting.
Yes. Like you will soon have the biggest creature on the board, and it will have hexproof. So it doesn't look like it is a land. So we
No.
are picking up 4 mana here. Okay.
What does this do?
It's
Sever the bloodline.
removal, so
It does it?
Okay, we've exiled the big dude. That's upsetting. This one has flashback too.
yes, for 7 mana.
No, blocks.
Would you like to block my dying zombie?
Yep.
No, thank you. No.
So now we have a 6/6 with hexproof.
Okay. 6/6 now.
Which can trade with a frog.
Sorry, sacrifice.
I mean, with Helena in the position that she's in, she probably doesn't want to, but she might have to, just because.
Yeah. And here we're
life.
seeing Ash now down to 4 mana, so less than he had last turn. Didn't draw a land to replace the lands.
6 cards in hand and not much to do with him. All right, this frog has been detrimental.
Yeah. It's just quite upsetting to see. Ideally, you just want to get a land spell constantly, don't you?
Yep.
And just constantly keep it fueled up.
Just so happens that if you build a limited deck correctly, you have fewer lands than you do spells, so
Yeah.
Gitrog is going to run out.
Trying to see if there's any sort of line here. We do know there's a collective brutality. So we could potentially...
That's what's at the front of Ash's hand right now, is collective brutality.
Yeah.
But what is it? It doesn't do much here. Like, we know that what is in Helena's hand is a non-land.
I'm going to cast Collective Brutality.
So
Use all 3 modes.
it only hits instants and
you-
sorceries. You can
Yeah.
you can kill the wolf
These 2.
What you call the next characters, okay?
Yep.
and just drain.
So,
Train you for 2.
yep, so I'll go to 16, you go to 8.
Targeting this.
Yes, I'm targeting that. And I'm revealing a card.
Okay, it's
So I'll trigger.
it's a big abundant. Is it abundant maw? Is that what it's called?
This up to 3, and then have a zombie.
Yeah, so the issue with this now is we've made that
I will
6/6
then
into a
go
7/7.
to combat. Attack with all 3.
Custom. Trigger.
I think Ash forgot about the human that comes in for free.
Go and draw.
Yeah.
I'm going to charge it.
Okay, maybe not. We've got tragic slip for it. Doesn't feel great. Helena's managed to draw a card off a clue.
Coming in for 9.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I will trigger
Yes.
skip rock monster.
That's fine. That happens. Take 3.
Yeah, take 3. That's
Okay, so Helena did feel the need,
Pass turn.
Yeah.
and I think that's just smart, right? Because if we don't top a land here, you just okay. We did. Just gonna start exiling stuff, I assume.
Sacrifice the zombie to cast the abundant war trigger.
Yeah.
Next
so
turn.
You go to 8, I go to 13.
Oh, this is
Just
the
gonna-
drain one.
So yeah, so we're just gonna drain, which is quite sweet.
Untap, draw.
Wait, 1 second. We just emerged a token.
So ghoul, and then I'm going to pass the turn.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we did it for full 7 mana.
Full 7. Yeah.
Okay,
We just got
it
all
wasn't
discount
reduced.
one.
It wasn't reduced
No.
in cost. It's just
Wildfield
yeah.
Scarecrow.
So I think we're at the point in the game now where it's
Lands immediately. Trigger
turning.
Ash
So
got
Helena's
Helena.
managed.
Yeah, Ash got Helena down to 5 and is now struggling for resources,
Yeah.
staring down 3 clues on Helena's board.
Yes, which also represents 3/1/1s as well, which unfortunately, when most of Ash's board are just 1/1s. Yeah.
Here we have a zombie. But so, although Helena's looks like she's starting to take control here, there's very little threat of damage very quickly.
That's fine. Just wait until she drops a 7/7.
That's it. We need the
Colossus.
we need the trample.
Yeah. So we're gonna start attacking as well now.
To discard Murderous Compulsion.
Hey, we got some madness too. Welcome to Innistrad.
Sweet.
And I'm not going to block this.
Very cool.
Get a zombie and a clue.
Yeah, I'll go to 11.
Decay trigger.
That dies.
This is definitely. I'm gonna state this without trying to not be too negative, but how magic does this feel? It's a very magic set, this, and it feels like MTG from a lore point of view. I know that we're very much going away from that at the moment, but it is nice to see all of this happening and feeling like the mechanics and the world that was built.
Yeah. Oh, this looks like a Bedlam Reveler to me. Yeah,
Cast a Bedlam Reveler.
It does
it
indeed.
is.
Reduced by 4.
Discarded 4 cards. That's not what you meant to do with Bedlam Reveler.
No, not discard 4. It was reduced by 4.
Oh, that makes more sense.
I think Bedlam Reveler there was the good old-fashioned ancestral recall.
Lovely, but for 4 mana.
Yep. Not quite as good.
It comes with a 3/4. Come on.
I'll village rights it.
Reveler down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is interesting considering there are 2 Abrades in Ash's deck. I think I'd have been tempted to just let it get exiled.
Yeah.
Because so when you destroy the Hell Vault, you do get your stuff back.
No rocks. Take 2, go to 9.
Or now we've got Morbid Opportunist as well. There's
Is that
so
how the
much.
Hellbite works?
I think so, right?
Yeah.
When Hellbite spends the green return all cards exiled with, yeah. So yeah, you would.
Morbid Opportunist is pretty nasty.
And I'll then
I'm not. Yeah, you don't see it be much better than in a deck like this.
Yeah. Ash now beginning to flood out with all these lands.
Now that the frog's gone,
Yep. We do get to make a blood, so we get to get rid of 1. But we also are just going to play some
make another blood.
creatures.
And pass turn.
Ash finding the number 2 on that die, real hard.
Yeah. Here we go. This is where Helena's going to start sacrificing all these. Start getting the triggers. Draw cards.
They're certainly not making it easy for us as commentators in this first match, are they?
No, but we said the decks both look very grindy. like I said, basically at the start of the match, how many flyers are in your deck? Because a flying threat would have done absolute work here.
Yeah, very true, very true. Does the Brambleworm or the Cultivator Colossus have reach?
I don't think.
I don't think
The Bramble one does.
the worm does. Okay.
7/6.
Sack applied. Discard and draw.
We found an
So Ash
abrade.
should also gain a life there, right? Yeah, so he's getting 2 life.
Yes.
I get 2 life, don't I?
Yeah.
Go for 11, thank you.
Right, you are.
So there is a braid. Is that a braid and
I'm going to break.
a land? So we're gonna braid the Hell Vault. Guessing Helena
Interesting.
had nothing there with an ETB. Just get a free ETB trigger. Flicker it for 1 mana basically.
4 mana. To flashback call from the cellar.
Wolf from the Cellar's gonna
To
get the
bring back.
frog back.
Ooh, maybe.
Bedlam River.
Bedlam River. So we're still digging.
Zombie. Is that one?
That's an Undying zombie, that is. So that's not going to come back now, right?
Yep.
Was that the? I think that's the only zombie out actually. So
I'll play a land. And I'll
You can refuse to. You can just not put a counter on
Yeah.
a zombie.
Sacrifice a clue.
yeah.
Sacrifice the last clue.
Helena's finally clueless.
for like now, we'll see how long that lasts. Untap.
Deck sizes are gonna start looking pretty small.
Yeah, I think they've both been through their deck about the same amount. Like,
Yeah.
Ash was drawing 2 cards determined to get rid of monster earlier on.
I mean, we've
And
got a
free
Bedlam
off
River
Bedlam
about to come
River.
down as well. The Morbid Opportunist is going to just continue doing it over and over.
Sanitarium's
Yeah.
exile blasphemous guest.
So,
Trigger triggers.
yep.
Huh.
A clue, make a decayed zombie. And draw a card from
We've exiled the 1/4.
Yeah, so I think that just says I'm going to start attacking with my 2/2 decayed
Yeah.
zombies now.
But with a Bedlam Reveler in Ash's hand,
Yeah. That's a 2/3. And it becomes a 4/6.
I mean, Helena also knows that she is sat on a Cultivator Colossus at some point,
Yeah.
and that thing's going to be humongous. So there may well just be a thought of let's clear as much as we can.
Yeah, so there are some big threats. So there's the Cultivated Colossus, which is going to be huge. The Brambleworm, which is a 7/6.
Not once.
But there's also a Festahide Boar, which at this point, as long as Morbid's triggered, it'll enter as a 5/5 with Trample as well. So we do want to,
It's fairly likely that things are going to have died when that comes down.
yeah. We do also have the
there's
Bloodline.
is that the Colossus? Yeah, we've got a
That is
Colossus.
Colossus, yeah.
So it's exactly what was going on. It was just a case of clearing out some of the power on board.
Yeah. So one.
Cultivated Colossus has done one thing.
That's a shame.
I'll send it back to you.
Oh,
How many cards you got in library?
Ash doing the library check. Very few cards there. I think that was. I think they both got the same amount in library. So this Bedlam Reveler.
Accelerating the
good.
game.
Yeah. We know there's a second Bedlam Reveler in the deck as well. So
I'm going to cast these in the live as well. Sacking my skeleton, exiling that.
All right, we found the answer for it straight away.
yeah.
I'm going to
think-
return it to my hand. I'm going to cast it. And then I'm going to play a Festival Crasher.
Oh, Festival Crasher! No way. This. So I had a pack that had 2 Festival Crashers in it, and I took the shiny one and passed the non-shiny one. Turns out it made its way all the way around the table to Ash.
Just one seat
One
away.
seat away. Gutted.
So I wonder if that was a choice there by Ash to not play the Bedlam Reveler. I think he's made the decision that this deck might go to decking out,
Yep.
which means he does have to survive. There is what 7, 8, 9 creatures on board, and they're all coming in there. So Helena's probably decided
Okay.
enough's enough. These cards only trigger once a turn. If we just start swinging out, we're probably going to push for enough damage over a couple of attacks, a couple of full swings,
Here,
and Helena won't deck out from it.
here.
Yeah, as long as Helena is shuffling a hand,
Here.
so as long as there are resources to deploy here, this is just a case of right. I want this game done.
No effect.
Yeah, well, it's still getting in for 7 damage as well.
That's it. That's it. Two,
Yeah.
7 damage comes in. Helena still has more cards, more creatures on board.
Yeah.
Ash has also just told Helena that he doesn't really want to cast the Bedlam Reveler.
Yeah.
When I trigger Arch, Pool of Raven to start card as well.
It triggers off itself, doesn't it? Oh, okay, wait,
Just checking whether there's a zombie on top of the library from.
Yeah.
I'll play a Bramble Worm in game 5 life.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah,
So,
it's a lot less
6,
risky
and
in attack.
Here's the boar. Here's a 5/5 now. 5/5 trampler.
Okay.
So these were the 2 cards I mentioned a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And when you're Helena and you know you've got these in your deck, you feel like you're in a much better position.
5.
Yeah, a couple of big tramply things, one of which is also a honey mammoth.
Bedlam Reveler. Cast a Bedlam Reveler.
Right, we're casting it now.
Reveler.
So we're casting a Bedlam Reveler to discard a Bedlam Reveler. Okay, we got a Braid and a
Huntmaster.
Huntmaster. If no spells were cast, flip it. When it flips, it deals 2 damage. Target opponent planeswalker 2 damage to up to 1 target creature that play controls.
Cast Huntmaster.
I mean, it looks to me like Ash is
Ends battle
dead.
like a 2/2 wolf.
This comes in with another body. A level 2/2.
Okay.
And we have a Braid,
9 to 7.
and we have a Prowess trigger.
I will pass the turn.
Okay, yep. I forget about the prowess, but I mean, still in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's only 1 creature's getting through, which I assume would be the zombie.
But both the
Ooh.
Festerhide and the Brambleworm are tramply.
Yeah. We have just done a library check and Ash down to 3 cards in library. We do have this removal spell with flashback as well.
Well remembered. That's the kind of stuff that I always forget.
Yeah. I'd be intrigued to see if Helena goes for him here or whether she decides she just doesn't want to lose the game. I think the only issue, if you decide you don't want to lose the game, is that Huntmaster of the Fowls now. Flipping.
So,
Not attacking with the Opportunist.
No.
That can't be right.
12 of trample damage. That's the real concern, isn't it?
Because this
Just an
looks
extra 2 damage,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I think it. Yeah. Okay. No. Helena is attacking with all of it.
We're just full sending. So it's 7 attackers, 5 blockers, so at least 3 damage is coming in, plus the trample.
Yeah, I think this is it.
I think that's probably it.
The Abrade can deal with
But the Abrade probably just deals with the Opportunist, right? And that's
Opportunist. Yeah.
2 damage. Well, this has been a heck of a grinding game
It
one.
certainly has. I'm going to be exhausted if all the matches are like this.
Yeah. Did we even mention at the start that players are seeded in this? So that's why I believe Helena started on the play.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I did mention it,
Yeah.
but it is really important. And I think we've talked about it in the past that it even informs the types of decks that you might want to build.
Yeah.
I know that these two have both ended up building something super grindy, but
So there's that incentive if you're seed number 1 in the tournament, you can just decide I'm going to play aggro.
yeah,
Well, initially
I'm not very good at that. I'm more let's see what we open and let's try to figure out
Yeah.
what my lane is rather than
So maths has been completed. We have done it. We have. Ash unfortunately losing the flashback removal spell, probably not taken into account on the previous turn. I mean, not that Ash had
couldn't do
many
anything about it.
options there. Yeah,
Yeah, but it was brutal.
get to see a few sideboard cards here. Is there anything here from either player? Didn't see anything from Ash
Pretty
that
sh-
looks great.
Ha! That's a lab man that Helena's bringing in.
Lapland. Yeah, it's like I could deck out here. Let's.
Love that.
There was a very serious, genuinely could happen. I think Ash was down to 3. Helena was probably down to 6 or 7 cards. So,
Yeah,
and if Helena had played slightly more aggressively, drew a few more cards off the Cultivated Colossus, Ladman could do it. So now we've got Ash on the play. So if I'm Ash now, after seeing that game, I want a very aggressive hand.
what are the first 5 cards that we see are 5 lands? Are they? We are having to mulligan one.
So swamp and play a skeleton.
Yes.
We can get aggressive with a skeleton.
Yeah. So this skeleton, we're about to see it do 20 points of damage.
Can't wait.
So here, if Ash had managed to follow that skeleton up with maybe Blood Type Harvester,
the 2/2 the taps for green.
that would be the perfect sort of aggro start. We just swing in for 4 this turn, and I'd like Ash's chances. But if we get into a grindy game again, seeing that Helena doesn't have the double enchantments out, so killing things at the moment is fairly free.
Yep. Get them dead while they don't leave anything behind. Also, bolt the bird is a thing, right? That was a mana dork.
Yeah.
A braid the. I can't remember what it's called.
Let's have a quick check. What's it called? The Scorned Villager.
Yeah.
Braid the Scorned Villager. Okay, we're drawing the second braid as well now, which is sweet. But there's a 3/2 in the way. We've had to stop attacking.
All right.
Yeah.
You spoke too soon.
So if I'm Ash here, I've got that braid in hand. It's probably the only way now to deal with the hell hole in the deck. You almost have to just hold it, right? The rest of the game.
Yeah. He's also
I'm going to eat an alive.
not feeling great about how this has started.
Yeah.
Pass the turn.
We are going to eat an alive.
And if the games are going to go similarly to how game 1 did, then
I'll
Yeah.
yeah, you need removal for Hellbolt.
Oh, so this is what was almost the start of the end for Ash in the last game. This lumber knot coming down and just not being able to kill it. Now at the moment it's a 1/1, so we can attack through it. But that changes now. There's a 2/2 and a 1/1.
Here's the lab man. I'm gonna guess that the lab man is not going to win the game.
I mean, it could sit there for the rest of the game and do nothing until Helena draws from an empty library.
Well, Helena is attacking with it, so.
Well, in that case, then Labman might just get there.
Get all of the combat damage in.
Yeah.
So I don't want to kill it because then the lumber knot gets bigger. Fine,
Yes.
take 2 then. Or we just need a 5th land.
So Ash there just got a lot of a lot of the sort of more mediocre cards in hand.
But
We do
there's
want
the
that
the
fifth
other
land
half
for
of the meld is there, right?
the chittering hosts. Yeah. Labman getting in again.
Post combat. Gonna pay 5 and sack this for emerge trigger. It's a horror storm trigger.
Ugh.
So we're gonna get this guy back. We're gonna make our dude a bit bigger. We're gonna get a clue, and we're also gonna get some 1/1s along with it.
Trigger undying.
And now the chittering host doesn't even look that good, right?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You can almost hear that in Ash's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Almost resigning at this point. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty nasty.
We have just put 3 extra bodies into play, upgraded one of our creatures, well, upgraded 2 of our creatures actually, haven't we? And there's the land, and that land Ash put onto the... So Ash had 4 lands in his hand, yeah? From the opening hand, and that is
Yeah.
the first land he's drawn this game, so...
Which is normally a good sign, but in this instance...
But it's just not very good.
Ash coming to the same conclusion you just did, where
Yeah.
it's very sad that a chittering host is just not very good on a board and has to meld and then sit there and do nothing.
It almost... Well, it just gets double blocked at this point, doesn't it, by the horror swarm and the 2/2.
Yeah.
And
we get
Helena
triggers.
loses the creature gets bigger.
And we get a clue.
And we get a clue, yeah. And now we're just gonna come up the board even more.
Yeah, I think that the value train has left the station here for Helena.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like there's much coming back from this.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking
And
of...
there's the morbid opportunist, and now we can almost start attacking with creatures just because it's free. Like just attack with a 1/1, a 2/2. Make Ash make the decision. Because I don't even think Ash wants to block anymore. So 2 lands off the top back to back.
Combat. I'm gonna attack with this
We are just attacking because what else are we going to do?
5 menace.
Yeah, so snap off the trade.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you
The 4/4.
Where would you like the damage to go? We'll kill something, please. The biggest thing.
Yes.
I'm gonna call from the cellar, targeting the scavengers.
Yep.
Love it, because the scavengers gets the graph rats back, right?
Play the scavengers.
Yeah.
Return the rats to my hand.
Love it. Right,
And I'll pass the turn.
second
Still think
verse.
that block was far better.
Oh yeah,
for Helena
100%.
than it was for
Like,
Ash.
Ash is doing some cool stuff, but it's just not good enough.
Yeah, that thing should be a bit bigger as well. At least one counter bigger. Oh no! Whenever a creature dies, so it also includes
It should be
opponent's creatures.
quite a bit bigger.
It should be 3 bigger.
Trigger number not trigger more block 2.
But I think Helena's just gone, look, I'm far enough ahead, I've missed some triggers. Let's crack on.
And there goes the what was it? The rats? Was it the rats that gets the piece back, or is it the other one?
Scavengers.
Yes. So we've exiled the scavenger. There is a second copy of scavengers in the deck, so you can still see it happen.
I've already seen it.
Yeah.
It's fine. We can move on now.
I'm surprised we're not also attacking with the Labman here. So this non-attack with the Labman says Labman might actually win the game. Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe Ash has got a board wipe.
Yeah.
Still wouldn't be good.
Did we? miss a decay trigger as well. A decayed zombie there, I believe.
From the Ghoulish Procession.
Yeah.
I'll play the rats. Actually, sorry, I'll tap like this. I'll pass
It looks like Helena's just that far ahead now.
It's just going into
Play's getting a little bit
cruising
more
mode.
sloppy, but yeah,
Exactly with Lumbernaut
we just
There's also an element of game one would have been super long time-wise, and we want to just get this match finished.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of the things that I do struggle with is like when to just start accelerating in terms of play speed.
I'll pass Eastern.
Holy moly.
Ash's holy moly response to Geezer and Geralf.
We've
We
put
do
a
have
removal spell into the bin. We get to recast our zombie. So now we've got Butcher Ghoul, our
Bring this back
Undying
to
zombie on defense for the rest of the game. Labman, so we can't deck out. We've got 2 enchantments for everything that dies. We get stuff happening.
play a land.
Um,
make sure that lands untapped. But
I think I'm probably going to call it then.
I did mill over the 7 of Ballon.
yeah, there's removal
yeah,
spell in the bin.
Ash is calling it.
Okay.
Wow.
Very different game there.
Yeah, really did accelerate very quickly there. Helena did.
Yeah.
Very cool match to start this tournament off.
There was a point
Yeah.
I thought I had you.
Man, wow.
So it's just saying Landman was boarded in, took out Hellvault, which is interesting because, like I said, Ash almost has to hold on to that braid forever.
It's really smart to take it out, isn't it? Because when there are braids, you don't want to use it. But
Yeah.
all right, sweet. That's match one.
Okay.
All right, so that's round one finished, and before we move on to round two, just go over what happened in the other matches. So we've just watched Helena beat Ash, Joe beat Ben, James beat Stephen, and I beat Francesco. They were all easy 2-0s, weren't they, James? Thank you for joining us.
Oh, never any doubt. Yes.
It was so perfect that we get you on for round two after you winning your round one. And not only that, we are going to make sure that we get to see as many decks as possible. We're going to watch Ben play Stephen in round two, so you can tell us all about how Stephen's deck didn't work against you, because obviously that's the only reason that you beat him.
Clearly, yes. No luck, no skill issues here.
No. But before we do that, let's have a look at Francesco's deck, because we won't be watching Francesco play from this point forwards. So we'll have a look through Francesco's deck, and it looked like this. So we have Spirits of Emrakul. It is a blue-white plus a little bit of green deck with an Emrakul, which is quite fun. I played against it. It was basically just a lot of flying things is what I played faced up against, with some spirits which famously do fly.
Yes.
It always confuses me when spirits come down and they don't fly.
Yes. Sometimes they don't. A lot of times they do, but sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Thraben Inspector, one of my favorite commons, full stop. But yeah, I think it was spirits, and he wanted to play Emrakul, which is just fun.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also a Cathar's Crusade in here, which is a pretty busted enchantment. If you can pop off with that.
Yeah, good shout. So this is the is it the anthem? Whenever a creature enters.
Yeah, whenever a creature ETBs, you put a counter on every creature you have. So it's a nightmare to track if you don't have exactly the right number of tokens and dice.
Right.
But
yes.
It is very powerful. You play a Lingering Souls and they both become 3/3s, and then you flash back a Lingering Souls and you have 2 more 3/3s and then 2 5/5s.
Very cute. Yeah, don't like that. No, I was fortunate not to see that in round one. Speaking of, we do have a green and a black splash. You've mentioned why the black splash is here. It's to flashback Lingering Souls. And then the green is here for a card that I believe you have in your list as well, in the Duskwatch Recruiter.
Yes, I was very grumpy with him because he was just sat to my right during the draft and took this one random dust watch after I pick one.
I mean,
a dust
it's known to be a house in limited, so understandable that he's splashing it. Francesco is an extremely good limited player, an extremely good Magic player. Very fortunate to get past him in round one. But yeah, this was just his deck. But let's move on to the decks that we're going to watch a match for, and that's Stephen against Ben. We'll start with Stephen's list because you can help us out with it.
I'll do my best.
Green white.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot of what you would expect. A lot of it is what you expect from a green white Innistrad deck. There's a bunch of humans. There's 2 copies of Travel Preparations, which is obviously a really powerful card. Some good solid green white removal, just like a fairly aggressive curve. A couple of Splinter Fights is pretty terrifying because they get real big, real fast, and have trample. So there is just a good solid creature beatdown plan with just Travel Prep to kind of follow it through, like pushing a bit more damage.
And
nothing
then
like
there's potential for
crazy.
Lumber Knot as well to get through.
Yes, Lumber Knot is slightly less scary because it doesn't have trample or anything, but it still can just get super big. And just some cool synergies. Mayor of Averbrook pumping a lot of humans when it's on the front side. I know it's even I think one wolf. This might be a young wolf, in the deck for if Mayor of Averbrook ever gets flipped as well. So just some cool little bit of synergies there.
Yeah, we've referred to the fact that it's a farming deck. The ambitious farm hand. We've got some humans going on here, as green white in Innistrad always is. I was talking to Kieran just a minute ago about how this really did feel like a celebration of Innistrad, and we are returning to real Magic sets with this one, which was
the
was
remastered
quite nice.
ones. Remastered sets I always think are a lot of fun. Just a little bit more powerful sometimes, but like a little bit more interesting as well than just a regular standard set where you're combining all of these mechanics from across multiple sets with the same themes. Also really happy they didn't put both Day and Night and the original Werewolf mechanic in this format. That would have been a nightmare to track.
Yeah, a nightmare indeed. All right, well, let's have a look at Ben's Innistrad tokens, which isn't necessarily something that I think of when we talk about Innistrad, to be honest. This is probably the most off theme deck that we see at the table. We did just talk about Lingering Souls. Obviously, that is a very strong tokens card. But it's essentially, I think his first pick he announced to the table as being Invasion of Innistrad.
That sounds dimly familiar. Yes.
Which is the flash battle from, I guess it would have been March of the Machine. That destroys something or gives something -13, and then on the flip side, we create a couple of zombies, and then we can start making zombies with our graveyard.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to beat a flipped Invasion of Innistrad when it just starts printing zombies. If you're remotely not ahead.
And we certainly saw it in match one, but these remastered sets always feel a little bit lower powered, mainly because we're calling back to cards from yesteryear. I kind of expect the format to be a little bit slower. Removal isn't quite as efficient as it is nowadays in standard sets, which means you kind of get to play at the playground, which I'm sure is music to your ears.
Yeah. So you see me sleeving up a Simic deck, I'm happy. So.
Yep. All right. So yeah, we've got Lingering Souls. What other token generation do we have? We've got Gather the Townsfolk.
The Invasion of Innistrad, like we just chatted about as well, obviously.
Yep.
And then there's a couple of ones that maybe pump out some tokens, and like not that Fabian Spectre's token is particularly aggressive, but there is some tokens going on there. Butcher Call is kind of coming back, and there's just a bunch of kind of control-y, grindy value coming out of this. I think it's not too heavy on tokens as like cards that make them, but it's just that the combination of things like Lingering Souls and Intangible Virtue is pretty busted from anyone who remembers when Intangible Virtue was available in standard, however many years ago that was. So
yeah, that's fair. I guess it's called tokens because if we've got Intangible Virtue in the list, then it has to be some kind of a token theme. We've got Mausoleum Guard as well, so that when it dies, it replaces itself with a couple of tokens. So yeah,
There's definitely a few, but it's not quite. It's not like nothing but tokens all the way down, as it were.
yeah. I mean, you wouldn't expect it. The set didn't necessarily support a full-on tokens theme, but this is what
doing a
Ben's
good
built.
job,
Yeah,
making
and
something fun.
it looks good. All right, well, let's get to the match then. Round 2, fight. So
Just trying to make Street Fighter noises over Magic Gathering.
I don't know the old school Street Fighters or Tekken. I can't differentiate between them all, so I'd end up like Street Fighters, the Hadouken,
Yes.
Ken and Ryu. Yep, we got it.
Yeah. You're perfect. 10 out of 10 accent as well, no notes. So it's all fun.
Beautiful, beautiful. I remember playing. I can't remember what year it would. Oh, I'm going to show my age. I'm not going to bother telling you a year. I think it was like Street Fighter EX3 or something like that. I don't even know whether that's a thing or whether I'm dreaming it. But let's talk about Magic, shall we? Because I don't know about Street Fighter.
Apart from obviously that one secret layer that they were in, but still.
No, that didn't exist.
Okay, sorry. There's like some mulliganings happening though.
Yeah, we've got some real exciting mulliganing. I don't. So, how did your match against Stephen go? I think he was complaining a little bit about having to mulligan and his deck
I
not really
think there was a
behaving.
multi-5 and
Yeah.
a multi-6 in his 2 games. And then we played. I think we played a few friendlies as well. So I won 2-0, and the games we played weren't super close. But that's because Steven's deck wants to kill you pretty fast. And as soon as you start kind of grinding out at a late game, if you're stable, you'll win a lot.
Yep.
My deck had like Deadeye Navigator and a Mist Ravens and Stitch Manglers and a bunch
fun
of
times.
triggers. So I'm just like if your plan is just to play a bunch of 2-mana 2/2s and try and attack, and you don't have the curve, you're going to lose that value game quite a lot. So I think that'll be key for Stephen here. Is if he's obviously starting off with a Young Wolf is pretty solid, or the Butcher Claw's a good blocker for it, but he just wants to go 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, fight spell, removal spell, and just hope that Ben stumbles a little bit.
I like the idea that we're just going to trade wolves and ghouls, just make them both a bit bigger.
We're just each going to upgrade what we're doing, and it is interesting. It's the balance between whether Stephen is like attacking to trade off to be aggressive, but the trade is still encouraged by like Ben as a blocker because he doesn't want to take the damage either. So regardless of what type of deck you're playing, these undying creatures do die quite a lot.
You just try it. Yeah, undying creatures dying.
Yeah,
we had a lot of death triggers in round 1. Helena's Golgari deck was loving all of the death.
Helena's Golgari deck was a thing of beauty.
It was really cool to watch.
Orvanbold Mysteries is one of my all-time favourite.
Oh, really?
Cards. Yeah, I remember. I think one of the Shadows over Innistrad pre-releases, I had an Orvanbold Mysteries, and I think it was Ongoing Investigation, which is the other. It's a 2-mana enchantment that also, like, when things clues do this or make a clue when this happens. I can't remember exactly what it was, and it was just nothing but all I ever wanted to do in that limited format was make a bunch of clues and grind a bunch of value.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when I first started playing Magic with you, I always associated you with clues. I just even when we played Commander, when I was playing some Commander, it seemed like you just wanted to be making clues all day long.
I just want to draw cards. Drawing cards is the best way to do anything.
We've had a Syncopate just to counter a spell just because it was there, I would suggest. And then we've got a Cathar Commando come in and I guess introducing a little bit of damage here. Ben knows that he's up on cards against Stephen.
There's also a bit of a sad turn 4 there for Stephen, in that obviously he played a Central Farm, I think, on 3 that got counted, like you said, nothing on 4 and now nothing on 5. And this is exactly what I was saying earlier. Stephen doesn't want to be doing with the deck. He just wants to be punching you with green-white humans, really.
Yep.
And he's just not got the humans to do it. Technically, he's even got the slowest curve out of the available creatures on the battlefield, which is slowest clock, sorry, not slowest curve. And yeah, no flash things. I would imagine there is a lot of flooding going on here as he looks to be playing a 6th land. Yeah, and maybe just some kind of More specific, yeah, Bound by Moonsilver Cathar Commando does not feel great. Let's be fair, that's not really where you want to put that.
But I think this is why Cathar Commando can be really annoying to play against, because when you've got Exile based removal, you've kind of just got to remove that, otherwise it's just going to get removed.
Yeah. Another blowout here with this Drogscore Shield Mate as well. Just such a low impact card in general. It's not a great one, but
when you get them, you get them.
Yeah. And the Village Right's just kind of nullifying the removal spell as well. So yeah, it's been a slow start from Stephen, not had the curve he would like, and Ben's just had plenty of cards, plenty of ways to deal with stuff that he's doing, and has not the fastest clock on board, but you know, if you're sitting with a control-y style deck, you don't always need the fastest kind of clock in Limited. But this is actually improving clock quite a bit.
Yeah, Village Rights can be pretty brutal. And I think, again, like with Ben just being ahead on... well, in fact, Stephen's calling it there.
Fair.
Yeah,
it does look like a pretty almighty flood there from Stephen, and by that time he's just looking against a 3-power flyer and a scary ground creature, and just... Let's save some time. Let's go to game 2 and I'll win it this way.
Shall we?
It can be easy to do as well, especially if, you know, like I mentioned earlier, I think he had a Multi 5 and a Multi 6, and now 2 actual in our games that weren't friendlies as well. So sometimes you've just had enough and don't want to play out the 1% that you are to kind of get a result out of it.
Yeah, let's start that again,
definitely can empathise.
Yep. Reset
He's on the
before
play
you
again
get
here.
too annoyed at your deck not performing.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, really hope there's a good 2-drop here. Or at least a 2-drop. Just to get going, get some pressure. And that is a really good one to have on 2.
I figured that's what we were going to see, because I think Stephen was reflipping it back to its front side.
Yeah, if there's no 2-drop from Ben, which is not like impossible, given he had a turn 1 amulet, he might just be hoping to sack it. But okay, he does have a 2-drop, so that's important because we don't get the free flip.
Having said that, it doesn't block a 2/2.
No, it doesn't. But it may just be, that Stephen just takes a turn off, because this will just start pumping out wolves. And in this instance, Stephen will be the tokens of Innistrad deck, because it makes a 2/2 at each end step. Well, a 3/3 because it's lorded. So this is a pretty
okay, yeah. This is not the card that I was thinking of, but yeah, this thing's crazy.
Yes, this is a very powerful rare, and it's totally worth taking a turn 3 off on, especially when you're not under any pressure, because you can just afford to. You would imagine a control deck. We've obviously seen a bunch of instants from Ben in game 1, so there's some element of wanting to hold up mana, even if not. Like, there's not much of a downside for Stephen. Like, letting this flip is almost as powerful as committing a 3rd creature to the board, because you're making hopefully those creatures next turn anyway, with the trigger from the alpha.
Yeah, makes sense. I would say actually, I really don't like the flip cards in a draft and having to announce them during the draft. I think it really did change just the way that the draft played out at the table. Just people announcing the colours that they were going to try to be, almost. Saying, I've got an invasion, I've got a Mayor of Averbrook. You're like, okay, well, do I respond to that? So Stephen was to my left and had announced a green card, and I'm thinking, to what extent does that inform how I draft from this point? It's maybe it just adds an extra layer to it, but I feel like any level of open information at a table is not really what I want.
There are different, like you say, different challenges to it. I'm trying to remember other times I've drafted flip sets, because I don't think it's not like the system we have at the Dice Cup, wherein, you know, if you take a rare that is double face, you have to announce it to the table, which is kind of what you're getting at. Isn't necessarily a thing that everywhere does.
Right.
So like some people just draft it totally normally and don't announce anything, and if you happen to spot some flipped card face down, then you get extra value.
The problem with that is that it rewards people from trying to look at what other people's cards are, and you just don't want that. And that's why we've got this rule in place. We do have an Invasion of Innistrad come down, deal with the mayor, which is certainly important.
it can get, especially given that double-sided sets are so much more common now than they were before. Because before it was, you basically waited for the next time you went to Innistrad, and then there weren't any flips. Now obviously we've had Neon Dynasty, we've had Marching Machines, we've had so many others. But after that Mayor of Overbrook starts, which looks pretty rough for Ben, this is a pretty good follow-up, like a good strong removal spell in the invasion to get rid of it, and then I assume this is just going to be flashing back a Lingering Souls again.
Lingering
here.
Souls into Lingering Souls, 5 mana to make 4/1/1 flyers isn't too bad.
And it's not quite. I think the invasion of Innistrad comes in with either 5 or 6 of whatever the type of counter it is that are on them, siege counters or something. I'm not sure exactly what. It looks like he hasn't made 2, so he probably got some plans to do with the extra mana, but still. But getting that invasion of Innistrad flipped fast would be really, really clutch if Ben can get that.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we didn't just make 2 additional flyers here, but I'm sure we'll find out why.
Yep.
What does the tapper cost?
I think the tapper is just 1 tapper non-human. I think it's the Abyssinian Priest.
So maybe that's the plan, is just to absorb some damage here.
The Splinter Flight's not huge at the minute, though. Like, I wouldn't be too worried about that right now. And I think just getting those threats on board to start pressuring the invasion. Like I say, if you do flip that into the backside, there's just so many zombies. It's 3 mana, make a 2/2 in essence. You have to exile a card from a graveyard, but this is Innistrad, right? There's always cards in graveyard. So,
not when you've already flashed it back.
As well. Yes. But it eats away at the Splinter Fright as well, if he gets to flip that. So I suppose it doesn't improve the curve for which it's taken down, but 2 Splinter Frights. Again, this is the fact that Steven has 3 of these in his deck, which Ben didn't know, so you can understand. But like, if he does just get to kind of slam a bunch of these large trampling dudes, you need something that's on a kind of push level of power to kind of make up for it. But he's going face, is he? No, he's not.
No, it's going at the invasion. I think that's
so it would have
the only route. So you were right. The invasion started on 5, which meant that the Lingering Souls altogether weren't going to get it anyway. So I can understand the decision, but it looks pretty bad. And a load of little 1/1s don't look great against big tramplers.
No, you'd like there to be just a spot removal spell for the Splinter Fight, just to deal with one of them. So at least the clock is a little slow, because milling 4 now, these Splinter Fights are likely to be quite big, and it's not like there's a lot of library left for Stephen. I don't expect this library to be gone before Ben's life total is gone.
I think we've just declared that the Splinter Frights are 7/7s.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
As all things go. Yeah, so. But yeah, at this stage, it's just all in. These spirits are kind of needed if you do want to flip the Deluge, but also you don't really want to take the 4 damage that you don't have to take from these 2 power creatures either. So rough spot for Ben here. The 2 Splinter Fights showing why they are scary cards.
Yes, indeed. You don't half-mill yourself fast with these things on board, but
yes,
they do.
They can be a little scary if you do top deck them both late.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Make sure you don't shuffle them to the bottom.
Yes, that's a skill issue if you do. So but yeah, so even if Ben flips this invasion now, it's just not enough. I don't think. Okay, it's what he's gone for, which makes sense.
I mean, there's just a Traveler's Amulet in the bin.
But he can eat your opponents, I think, with.
Oh yes, you can. Okay, so you get to make the Splinter Frights smaller.
I just think it might not be fast enough. Like, he's only got 2 black. He's only got enough mana to do it twice, basically, even if he had a 3rd black source. So he can take away 4 power and make 4 toughness. So that is quite a big swing, but like that does feel like a very back footy plan. Just have to hope from. I do think that seems like his best out though. Is just keep trying to eat things. Hope that these Splinter Fights manage to mill the wrong things, and Stephen draws the wrong things for them to get so big it's unmanageable. Keep using that Abyssinian Priest to tap down one of the Splinter Fights and just try and manage the other one as best you can. But I'm just not sure how big they are. They look massive based on Stephen's graveyard. Yeah, just attacking with the whole team makes total sense.
I'll exile two creatures from your bin. And make 2 more zombies.
Yeah, we do get 2 more 2/2s, but
So how big's that splinter fight now?
Has to go down there. So this is a 2/2.
He's just on such a low life total. It's just so
I think
hard to.
he's just dead anyway.
He's still just dead on board.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, it was just if that thing could have been flipped maybe just a turn earlier, feels a lot better for Ben. But 2 splinter fights is just so much damage.
Yeah,
Like, what that priest could do with one of them. But
Need to be able to eat that graveyard a little bit faster.
yeah. Just a good old endurance. Don't we all miss Modern Horizons cards? That's what we should be.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe not. Although I think Modern Horizons 2 is one of the best draft sets for the past 5 years. So I would
Okay.
love to.
I mean, they have been some super fun environments to draft in.
As long as you don't count that stupid Chrysalis card.
Yeah. I mean, MH3 was great. If we could just delete Writhing Chrysalis from MH3, that set would be up there for sure.
We'll gather the townsfolk and make 2/1/1.
All right, we get a tokensy start from Ben.
Yep. Doing it's interesting as to what type of game plan Ben wants to try and go ahead with here, because he's not going to win with 1/1 tokens on the ground in this matchup. That's not what it is. Like, he wants to just kind of clog up the ground, stabilize, and then let his flyers kind of chip in for the win. I would expect for the most part.
Yeah.
So it'd be quite important what he can follow up with. But this is double spelling on 2 is kind of nice, and also this Butcher Ghoul getting bigger so it can immediately train the Hopeful Initiate might scare Steven off of blocking. Probably not, because that's what you want to be doing in a green-white deck. Attacking, sorry, not blocking. What you want to be doing in a green-white deck is attacking. So
Eccentric Farmer's a real good value piece as well in its format.
yeah, this style of card has just always got value, right? It's the dog in the Tarkia set that we've got at the minute that is slightly different, but we've had so many right back to, I mean, not even back to say to Wayfinder, that's not even the first one, it's just one of the ones I always think of for Canlander reasons.
One of the strong ones, yep.
So like these types of card always have value in and playing these, especially if formats graveyard centric, but even if it's only a little bit so, still good just to smooth out your mana. Pretty easy to mitigate against milling your bombs that some people are always scared of. But this is a good curve start though from Ben.
It is.
2 drop on 2, a 2 and a 1 drop on 3, and a 4 drop on 4, all of which got extra value as they went along, is just pretty nice. Had to kind of chump attack away some creatures, but has got in for some damage here. I think. I don't think there's.
Yeah, the life total's not been updated. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, there's starting to be enough pressure here that Steven has to just think a little bit about whether he wants to be blocking. Because the 2/2 will just trade. Oh, that's a really good draw, though. That's a really good draw.
Bean Hunter, water card.
Yeah. Can let you keep attacking without worrying too much about the crackback. Because when it's 4 versus 4, and you've got, if Steven's happy with his hand and has more things to play with, I can definitely see continuing to be aggressive here. You can't train this. Whatever it's called, hopefully initiative again anytime soon.
All right, we just get some flyers. Looks like we are just going to continue with the race. Like the 2-for-1 there is really going to hurt that race, that clock. But it is only a 1/3, so it's just going to sit there and block some tokens, I suspect.
Yes. If that was just a kill spell, obviously it would have been much worse because he would have had flyers to attack for this turn, and it is causing Ben just to hold on the brakes a little bit. Can't attack through a Fiend Hunter with these tokens. So what does Hopeful Initiate do?
I don't.
Just a little bit staring at each other, I think, maybe at the minute, unless there's something good coming soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if you remember what cards are in Ben's deck and whether there's anything that pumps the team. I guess it's Intangible Virtue.
Yeah, Intangible Virtue I think is the only one like that. The Drog Skull buffs toughness when it ETBs, but that's about it, I think.
Fair enough. We've also got the Battleground Geist actually that gives all of the creatures +1/+0. All of the spirits +1/+0.
Yeah, which is obviously really good with the flyers from Lingering Souls. So
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking is if we're in a race, does Ben, considering the vomiting onto board that Steven's just done, there's got to be that in the back of Ben's mind of what cards can I draw here that can actually win the game quickly.
yeah,
Because the decision's going to be, am I still attacking with these flyers while they can get in damage?
the Travel Prep's a really big draw there. A lot of the old, off-color flashback cards from original Innistrad block have got a lot of love associated with them. Travel Preparations is one of them.
Yep.
Oh, my brain, come back to me. Spider Spawning is obviously a really big one that people talk about in metas quite a lot. Like, Spider Spawning is a really fun card for self-mill decks. And there are others. Those are the two that stick to my head. Because
And Lingering Souls, but yeah.
Lingering Souls. I think there's a blue and white one as well, but I can't remember which one it does. But there's a good number of them, and they're just all kind of cool. They do fun little bits, and they are really powerful in draft archetypes. And
I think
turning these.
most of them made their way into my Pauper cube. That's a cube that's just a load of the best commons. So
Makes a lot of sense. It's very fun cube as well. As always, Blink for the win.
yep, always. No Deadeye Navigators there though.
Sorry, say again.
No Deadeye Navigators there though.
No, true. Ben is getting aggro though, so he's probably looking at the maths and just being like, these 4 is a lot per turn. I mean, I know there's a bunch coming in from Steven's side as well. Cards in hand hopefully interact a little bit for Ben, but it doesn't take too many turns of attacking your flies, especially if he gets 1 intangible virtue, that takes a turn off the clock.
And that's why I was saying about what's in the deck. There's a couple of hits, as we just discussed, and therefore, because Steven's creatures aren't big and tramply at this point, maybe we can chump with a Hopeful Initiate and just hope to draw. Because at the moment, it's fairly obvious that Steven is ahead.
Yeah.
But if Ben can play to his outs, then there could well be a win there to cheese.
Yeah, that Battleground Geist would be huge, right? 'Cause if he was to draw that next turn, the spirits can get in for 8. The Geist can trade off with something on blocks or even chump if it needs to, and there's still a 4 to crack back and try and win with for Ben to turn after. So something like that would be massive. Intangible Virtue, obviously, you've already mentioned, but if he can just keep spamming out enough blockers to survive, then that is potential. But there's no attacks from the Fiend Hunter or the Fable Inspector, so there is some awareness of flash threats. Obviously,
got done by the flash 2/3 in game 1, right? So I'm sure there's thoughts of that could wreck.
Splinterfoot Scary though is a trampler, and there is the flash one.
It wasn't in hand, but it is now.
Yes, and unfortunately, it is the Spirit Lord that pumps toughness, which is not the one that Ben wanted to see right now.
We are just going to play for the potential of winning.
I mean, that seems like sensible. If you hold these spirits back and they're just chumping, that's not a long-term.
It's not a winning line. So I really like this play. I think it's really good from Ben.
Yeah, he's just got to try and stay alive and just hope there's intangible virtue or some type of battling geist on top of his library to try and to just sneak it at the last.
Also, when you play to your outs like this and it comes off, it doesn't half feel like you've just absolutely bossed it. Is this going to be lethal anyway?
I mean, if anything, Stephen is just making super sure that that you have not a lot of time to stop me from killing you, because this is about as spread out as these counters could be. So, Crusader of Aldrich not super relevant right now. Just reaffirming the fact that you are dead next turn if you do not kill me.
So it looks like we're not quite dead here because we can flash in. Like, this is a lethal attack, but we can.
Yeah.
Chump.
So the play is just what we discussed. It's flash this in, survive on 1, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's 1.
1, wow. And just hope the Lord's on top of the library, which is a really heads-up play, like from Ben playing to his outs, just trying to knowing his deck and knowing what he's going to, and just hoping Variant is his friend.
So block there and there. Go to 1.
Yep,
Yeah, at a 1.
These die.
It's a big top deck. Big top deck.
it really is. I'm excited for
It's
it.
got a 2 in 25 chance, something like that.
If this is inspired charge,
Yeah, just reveal it. Just reveal it, Ben.
Oh, it's a good card, but it ain't gonna get there.
It isn't the one you wanted. Shade. That would have been the sweet top deck.
I
But yeah.
love that as well. Ben just going, right, well, this card could win me the game. Let's see, shall we? Let's find out together.
Yep. Yeah, you can kill that, but it doesn't really do anything.
They're still trying to do
dead.
maths, like
Yeah,
I think they're calling it there.
yeah, that's fair.
inspired charge gets you.
Another interesting match, that's for sure.
It's a cool format. It does
Yeah.
do interesting matches.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
things.
They're trying to find how far they have to dig for it.
There's the
there
dice.
he is.
Okay, so it was a little way off. 6 or 7 cards down. So.
Yeah, nice. Well, thanks for joining us for this one. And that brings us to the end of round 2, where Helena beat me, Joe beat James, we've just watched Stephen beat Ben, and Francesco beat Ash. So going into round 3, we will be watching Helena play against Joe. And in the run-up to round 3, you'll notice that Henry's joined us. Thank you so much for joining us, Henry.
Hello. Lovely to be here. Lovely to watch this fantastic draft format.
Yes, yeah. We've definitely been waxing lyrical about just a magic set, a very magic feeling set in Innistrad.
I love Magic the Gathering in my Magic the Gathering game.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
No further negativity on that one.
Nope.
We're going to go through 2 decks that got knocked out now that we've not seen yet. So we'll start with James, who was playing a 2-faced tempo deck, as I'm calling it, because there's a few flip cards here. Interesting that he was describing this as a green-blue tempo deck, and I think that's mainly because of like Deadeye Navigator, Mist Raven, kind of fun shenanigans. I know that James loves himself a flicker blinky deck, and it looks like there's a bit of that going on here, but it's mainly just ETBs that bounce stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. There seems to be lots of good ETB targets here. Pack Guardian making some wolves, Abundant Growth drawing cards, making threats drawing cards. That's the tempo deck.
Yep. And there's a light splash for a double white pipped Sigarda.
Light splash in this 2-color deck.
Yeah, maybe a bit dodgy there, but we do have 2 Cryptolith fragments to try to help out with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was James's deck. Did get knocked out in round 2. But yeah, he seemed to certainly be enjoying himself with it. So
That's the aim, isn't it? Always with this game.
yes, I have to
Build a
remind
deck that
myself
you
of
enjoy.
that sometimes.
Yeah.
Speaking of decks that I enjoy, this
your
was
deck.
super sweet. I was so excited when I'd finished drafting this. I first picked a Memory Deluge, which I don't think was necessarily that strong a pick, but it's just I just really like the card.
That's a very cool card. One of my favorites.
Yep. I mean, just being able to just go, yeah, right, I'm going to go and find whatever I want in a 40 card deck.
Yeah.
It's basically
Big.
just dig as deep as you want.
Big draw spell. I'm noticing the 3 copies here
Oh, yeah.
of Seize the Storm.
Yep, so plan here was just to cast a load of spells and then eventually make some ginormous tramply Seize the Storm elementals and win the game because they've got trample. And these ones grow as your bin and exile grow as well. So yeah, really strong. It was really strong in its limited environment, and it's expected it to be really strong here. This is, I mean, got to the end of this, and there's a few cards in here that don't really fit in, like Croon Outlaw and Biolume Egg, and it's just kind of just to slow the game down a little bit, just to make sure I get to the end. Kind of like a control-y deck, really. With Caesar Storm as the top end. I was super upset about the fact that Ash took Bedlam Revelers, pack 1, pick 1, and pack 3, pick 1 immediately to my right, and then stole both of my Abrades. That was specifically relevant because I got knocked out by Helena's deck that we saw in round 1. And the problem with that matchup was, because I won game 1 and then lost games 2 and 3, was Hellvault just being able to for 7 mana, permanently exile my Caesar Storm tokens. It was just rough. Like, she actually beat me when I had 2 Caesar Storms in hand, but there was a Hellvault on the battlefield and no Abrade to be found, so I couldn't find the Abrade in time to start casting these things. So definitely got shut down by Helena's deck in that sense. But this deck was super sweet.
Blame it all on Ash.
I fully am. It's all Ash's fault.
And none of these big draw spells of Memory Deluge, the 2 Think Twices, those wouldn't have ever got you to Abrade.
They didn't. No.
No.
Yeah, they should have done, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Not in time. I mean, Helena's deck was sweet anyway. Like, it was just tons and tons of value, graveyard value, and was just grinding me down. And I just couldn't get through the Hellvault. So there it is. That takes us on to the finals of round 3, where we are going to watch Helena play against Joe. And we've seen Helena's deck, as we were just talking about, but we haven't seen Joe's deck. So this is Joe's deck.
Big old aggro pile here going on.
Yeah, interesting aggro pile, because you'll notice that the 2-drop slot is lacking.
Very empty. Yeah. One of them having flash is relevant, I think. But
yes, yeah, Cathar Commando having flash is nice.
And do you know what else Cathar Commando does, Nathan? It can
Does
blow up a Hellvault.
Oh no, I wasn't playing white, but that's a good point. Actually, it might be relevant for the matchup. Hellvault's going to be super slow here, though. I suspect.
Yes.
Joe's trying to get Helena dead before 7 mana exile per turn is going to be relevant.
Yeah.
I would suspect. But yeah, this is like an aggro deck that's playing at 4, like 4 drops. The Voldrin Duelists, haste makes creatures can't block. But yeah, there's an Avacyn there hiding in the background.
There is an Avacyn hiding in the background there.
So yeah,
that'd be scary. We've got that'll win games.
Mm-hmm. We did talk actually in Helena's match, I think, about the fact that there's limited answers to flyers, and there are some flyers in here, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But yeah, this is a sweet list from Joe.
Yeah, very, very cool list.
Let's actually get to the match then, shall we?
Yeah, very excited.
And here we are. The Ghoulish Grave against Angel Fire aggro. Really sweet, by the way, that Joe's made it to the final of this.
Very cool.
Just about squeaked in to the top 8. I think it was in the final event he managed to secure his spot at the table. Helena was our number 1 seed, which also means that she will be making the choice of whether to be on the play or the draw, as this was a seeded tournament.
Yep. And I think going first is very important here.
I mean, yeah, against any aggro deck, you want to be going first, vexing Devil, just doing the 4 damage.
I think that's correct.
With Joe's main phase in the commando. You mentioned it had flash, right?
Yeah, it does have flash. I'll talk to Joe about that next time I see him. Don't you worry.
Interestingly, so like this is probably just going to have to pop this Scarecrow, because a 1/4 against Joe might be a problem.
Yeah.
But we'll see. There is a red-green tap land. We do have green in the deck.
We do.
You won't have seen where.
Yep. If anyone can get aware before it shows up, bonus points.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. Well, I was wrong. The 1/4 is not going to be popped. We are going to be trying to
Good.
ride this Cathar Commando to a victory.
Yep.
Angel Fire Ignition, super strong, 2 counters, Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Indestructible, and Haste. Just here's a couple of counters in every single keyword
Yeah.
that's been made.
Yeah. Very cool spell. And it's got flashback. So we might see it again this game.
We get to do it again. It's like, Helena, do you have removal for this thing? Because it's going to get big.
The sorcery speed's a bit of a burn, but it's still very, very strong.
Oh, imagine if this were instant speed, it would be redonkulous.
Broken.
I mean, it's going to do some work here regardless, I suspect.
Yeah.
A Festahide boar comes in. Nothing died
Without
somehow.
more bids, which is
Helena just knows that she's got
a block.
It's one of those where we probably just need to absorb some damage, even though this thing's got indestructible.
Yeah.
We are doing exactly that. Just taking the 4 damage, throwing a card away. But now we know that ignition is gone now. We can actually play this game
forever.
properly.
We'll never see it again. Yeah, Joe's got off to an absolutely flying start already.
And now Helena is going to start setting up what she plans to do, which is her creatures dying and her actually getting something for it, rather than just a boar to the bin. Overworld Mysteries, again, when a non-token creature dies, you get a clue, and when that clue goes away, you get a human. And that's exactly what we're going to see happen here. Helena having to chomp twice, though, is pretty rough. Ooh. And we talked about flyers.
Big flyer.
Yeah, this has gone pretty darn well for Joe.
It's gone very well for Joe.
If Helena had got removal for this commando, he'd be in a world of hurt. But
I think I watched this game in person the day of the event.
Oh, okay.
I just stood watching from behind. I think very importantly here, Helena's missing something very important of blue mana.
Oh, really? Is there something blue in Helena's hand?
I think the vast majority of Helena's hand at this point, I think, was blue.
Well, is it Geese and Geralf?
There was a Geese and Geralf in Helena's hand, if I remember correctly, as well as just spells that cost more than the amount of lands she has in play.
Well, Hell Vault's we mentioned it in the deck text, but the Hell Vault's not really going to do much work here, I suspect.
No, not a huge amount.
It's funny, isn't it? That Vexing Devil just did a lot of work just bolting for 4.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Big 4 damage to the face to get the game off. But I think Helena just made the absolute correct decision of let it deal 4.
Oh yeah, yes. I think that's basically just sorcery speed deal 4. You can't let a massive body like that stick around unless you have actual answer for it that's efficient. But what's more efficient than a 1-drop? Ooh, we get another rare here. I do like these collective cards.
Yeah.
So this one, what are the modes on this one?
Let's have a look. Target player discards all the cards in their hand, then draws that many cards. It deals 4 to a creature and 3 to an opponent or planeswalker.
Yeesh. Yep. We've taken the life totals haven't been updated to take. Oh, there we are.
There we are. So 3 damage from the Defiance, and then 3 off the flyer.
That's it. And that'll do it. Joe races to a game 1 win. Joe acknowledges that mistakes were made. I think the only
Yeah.
real mistake we saw was the 3-1 not coming
Yeah.
in at instant speed. But there may well have been some stuff going on in his hand.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning, and I mean, I know that commentators are meant to be impartial and all that, but man, did I want Joe to win this thing.
The underdog story is always the best.
Exactly. Also, can I just it's worth noting that Joe has drafted Boros aggro from a position where he will be on the draw in every single match,
Yeah.
and that's insane.
It's a brave choice.
Yeah, it is. It is a brave choice.
There you go. Here's some of these death synergies already from Helena.
Yes, indeed. So this is soulbound. I always forget how these things work. So when something else enters, it can bind with it.
When it enters, it can bind with something else, I believe.
I think isn't it when something else enters as well? If it's not bound, then it can bind with it.
Oh no, when either of them enter, yeah.
Yeah.
They remain paired for as long as you control both of them, and then it has an effect as long as they are soulbound, which in this case gives creatures haste.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing that's played can have haste.
Yeah.
If we want to bind with it. It's really weird and relatively clunky mechanic.
Yeah, it is.
Just to track
it's never
the board,
been...
I suppose.
Yeah. Get the old red string and link them with some drawing pins.
That's it.
Yeah.
Make some holes in the cards.
Yeah. Played. That's...
4 mana with the green. That's what the green.
So we do have a kindred.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the answer to our earlier what's the green splash. Bonus points if anyone spotted this from deck building.
No kidding.
I'll make a siege zombie and a ghoulish procession. Pass back.
Ooh, okay. Ghoulish Procession is our other enchantment that rewards deaths.
Yeah.
2/2 Decayed Zombies. But yeah,
Cannot block.
Joe's certainly not. Yeah, good point. Yeah, the zombies can't block. Joe's not really able to get any damage through here. But
No.
looks like we are just going to pop the Procession.
Yeah.
But there's a trigger. There is an initial trigger because the Cathar Commando is sacrificed before the Procession actually goes bye-bye.
Yeah.
We're going to use Siege Zombie as well. Tap 3 things to make Joe lose a life.
I'll sacrifice the blood and discard a swamp, gain life, draw a card.
Gaining life. So this was a sideboard card for sure. The Gluttonous Guest.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got a big booty, and also gains some life.
It says gain life on it.
Yep. Certainly doing work here and just stopping from Joe getting through.
Yeah. Joe doesn't look like he's quite committed to the board as much as he'd like to.
Yep. Need something to fly.
We do.
Can the decayed zombies block? They can't.
Decayed Zombies cannot block.
Which is very relevant.
Yeah, there's a flyer.
Oh,
And
look.
it has haste.
You could soulbind it with the thing that gives it haste.
Genius.
To give it double haste. This is why I'm good at Magic.
Yeah. That's why your grandma's favourite O to her.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have a lock for Kindred with against the Butcher Gold.
Yeah, proposed damage on this. Yep. You take 2?
Yeah, 19.
Notice the way that Joe said, I'll propose to put the damage on here. The rules have changed, Joe.
Yep. Get with the times.
It's still, when you've played Magic for as long as Joe has, even for as short a period as I have compared to Joe, it's really hard to get out of that.
Yeah.
Surely we have responses between me
Yeah.
telling you where the damage is going to go.
Joe's attempting to put damage on the stack here.
Yeah, that was well before my time.
That was well before my time. When was that rule changed?
No idea. Somebody
so
can help us
speedy-
out. Oh, you're gonna help. You're gonna do it.
I'm gonna have a speedy Google. So they changed damage on the stack 1 year before I was born.
No way.
Yeah, 1999.
Incredible. Hey, here's another sideboard card. Sorin was not in the deck list that we watched from Helena, because I suppose without a load of vampires it doesn't do enough.
No, but it gives lifelink.
Just giving lifelink, and all we're doing here is giving lifelink to a decayed zombie just to gain a couple of life. It ain't gonna do out other than gain 2 and do 2 damage to Joe. But I don't mind the decision. It doesn't feel great, but oh, okay. So we're just clearing the way with an Angelic Purge, sacrificing a land, because that's what these aggro decks have got lands for. And
Absolutely fine to do that for Joe.
We're just killing Sorin, which is a decision. Sorin, as we said, Sorin's going to do very little. But I suppose the threat's there. Joe doesn't know this was not open deck lists. Joe doesn't know that wasn't in the main, and doesn't know that there aren't many vampires for it to cheat in or do anything filthy with. It looks like Helena's just struggled here. Maybe this looks more likely to be the game where Helena's just got nothing in hand that can be cast.
So I think this was this draw here of the Young Wolf, if anyone saw it, is super relevant.
Oh, that's nice. We get to drain for 3 as well.
And make 2 blockers.
Emerge is a cool mechanic. I do like Emerge.
It's a very cool mechanic, yeah. It's not a huge amount of Emerge cards that are that strong, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In formats where you and I would play them.
I think it was just like because I was playing around, like when I started was around Shadows over Innistrad, Eldritch Moon block just after with Kaladesh, so I had some of that stuff flying around, and it was just cool having these big Eldrazi things that you could get in earlier just for sacrificing something. Not necessarily good,
very cool,
but it was cool.
Yeah.
A Griff Spoon.
Flying.
We said flying was going to be a problem for Helena, and it certainly has been.
Yeah. And this one can come back.
I wonder whether Joe just holds up mana to save the flying, considering it looks like flying's going to be super important.
It's a sorcery speed activation.
Ah, okay. In that case,
so
no.
You kind of want to just do stuff now, and then in your next first main phase, just put it back on something else.
Yeah. Okay. It's not that relevant then, because you want to be able to move it around in response to somebody trying to remove it, but that's not going to happen. We're just going to get in for some flying damage. 6 damage in fact, and Joe looking like it. Well, we've got 2 lethal attackers here, but Joe is down to 12, so
it's an interesting choice to go to 2 off this one, after having seen the Collective Defiance in the last game.
Well, both of these things have got flying, right? We can't do anything about these.
Oh,
effects.
true.
We've got a Morbid Opportunist, so opportunity to draw, so... Oh, and we're tapping 2 more. If there aren't any answers in Helena's deck, I'd probably want to go to combat, threaten a win, watch something die, draw a card, just to see if we can find removal. Does Markov Waltzer, does it only target other things?
Yes, I believe so. No, it can target
It
itself.
can target itself. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is just two lethal attackers. So I don't really know what Helena's looking to draw here, but it looks like Joe's thinking, well, whatever you've got, we don't know this format that well. I don't think I can afford to not block. So we're just probably going to chump here. Give Helena a draw trigger.
Yeah.
It's the safest route. We don't know what Helena's playing around with. It's very unlikely that Helena would be playing tricks in a deck that's about all of the things dying.
Yeah.
But you never know. And this is the point where Joe's thinking, oh my goodness, this looks like I could be very close to a win here.
Yeah.
Nerves set in. Draw a card.
Knowing Joe, he absolutely thinks there's something going on.
Yeah. You have to, right? You have to be the pessimist in this situation. We've got a hasty creature that stops the blocker as well, just in case. Wow. Surely there's nothing that can be done here. Oh, we are tapping mana though. Okay, we have a piece of removal, and because this is being cast on on a separate turn, we're going to get a morbid opportunist trigger. We're going to need another. Nope, that's it. Joe is our winner.
That Gisern Geralf from earlier.
Our draft champion is Joe. Oh,
Draft champ Joe.
Incredible scenes.
Big congratulations to Joe.
No kidding. His prize is that he's going to be able to choose a playmat that we'll design for him, and get it to him for hopefully for some of the upcoming draft events. Reminder that we do play draft every Friday night at the Dice Cup in Nottingham, and that's how we got to this really sweet event. Thank you so much to the Dice Cup for supplying us with the product as a free event for the people who have qualified. Thank you, Henry, for joining us.
Not a problem. Always a pleasure.
Thank you also to Kieran and James for joining us in previous rounds. And again, massive congratulations to Joe. And that brings us to the end. Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.